in Houston to join us. Buddy, thanks a lot for taking a little time with us. Hey, look, on a roster that's loaded with guys who have all this playoff experience, you know, more than 100 guys like Steph and Jimmy and Dre. Here you are playing in your 11th playoff game, and you've just done something that Warrior fans and you yourself will never forget. Tell me about this 33-point night.
Just first of all, like I said earlier, all glory to God, man. Without him, this would not be possible. You know, I was spiritually locked in, you know, just keeping my mind right, you know, and just talking to God, and just know I had to come through and help my team. And but shout out to Houston, you know, they're a great team. They bring it to us all night, I mean, every game, you know, and they stuck with it, and they're well coached. They'll be special in the future to come.
Buddy, what's up, my Bahamian brother? I played with a lot of great shooters, Glenn Rice, B. Shaw, Big Shot Bob, another Bahamian brother, Rick Fox. And when they miss shots, they used to talk to themselves. So my question is, when you miss the open shots that you're supposed to make, does Steph say something to you, or do you talk to yourself and say, I know I need to knock him down?
No, I already know what to do. I call Steph all world. I already know I'm all world what I do, and just next shot mentality, don't dwell on it, just move on to the next shot. I've worked too hard. I came far from a far journey, from where I came from Amaroq, Bahamas, and every time I come step on this basketball court, I try to represent me, my family, and thank God every day for this blessing me this opportunity.
Hey, buddy, number one, congratulations. After losing Game 6 at home, y'all had to be kind of a little shell-shocked. How did y'all regroup? So what did Coach say, and what did the veteran guys say to you, your young guys?
You know, yesterday when we get to Houston, we had a very emotional meeting led by Draymond and Steph and Jimmy. And from then, I was just locked in and just get my spirit together, and the meeting we had was just like just better give everybody chills, and we know when they go to battle, we know what that means, and the meeting was well needed.
Well, buddy, congratulations first of all, but you know you've been a scorer your whole life, and are you surprised how many open looks, not only the ones that you get on your own, but the open ones you get playing with Steph in the backcourt?
You know what? Yes, I am surprised because, you know, he drops so much attention, but just coming down and just making the mental ones, you know, the ones that are wide open and the contested ones that you have to shoot because it's in the flow of the game, you know, and you just got to trust your work, man, and keep shooting. But Steph gets a lot of attention, and like tonight, I was able to be free and knock him down.
Buddy, I'm intrigued by the answer to the previous question about the meeting and how emotional it was. What can you share with an outsider about the things that were said that night?
You know, it just shows that Game 6 was not locked in. We you know, Dre put all the blame on him, just getting himself mentally. You see him today. He was not freaking with the refs. He didn't miss nobody. He was just being Draymond Green, all defensive player. He's our team leader. He's our spirit animal, and he was there for us. And today, and we just followed their lead, you know, and we know how much this game meant for them, and we just collectively had a meeting and we just figured it out.
33 points on 12 out of 15 shooting. You tied the record, by the way, for most threes in a Game 7 in NBA history with your 9 tonight. Congratulations, man, and thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Hey, shout out to the Bahamas.
Yep. I'll see you in summer, my brother.
Yes, sir. Love.
What a night. What a night. Yes.
That was a great game. I wonder if they're going straight to Minnesota or going to go home tonight.
No, 2 days. They're going to Minnesota. Straight there.
Got to play Tuesday.
Playing was
that's
ready.
What I'm asking.
Playing was ready. Yeah. Playing was ready. Would close for 2 days in Minnesota. If you were the Golden State Warriors, that was the thing. And the difference, you know, to me, I did think that Houston had a good game plan, and it worked, you know, for Game 5 and 6. But I thought they overextended the game plan a little bit tonight, being at home. Steph Curry was, you know, aggressive, but he was mildly aggressive. And so that left shooters open in key moments, taking 5-point leads to 8 and 8-point leads to 11. So I just thought that they were a little bit over-aggressive in the double team, or not rotating off of Steph Curry to leave guys wide open.
Yeah, they played their game. They took Houston out of their game mentally. You know, Jalen Green, I love him, but he's going to have to learn how to, in big moments, you got to be big. You want to be touted as a superstar, you got to play like a superstar. Not blaming the loss on him. I'm just saying, as a youngster, when they're looking at you as next, you got to step up. But Golden State, they played a beautiful game. Other carried the way. I've had others carry the weight for me plenty of times. Buddy had a great game. I'm happy for Buddy. I'm happy for Golden State.
Yeah, the Rockets. They had a tremendous season. They got to work on their game, man. Jalen Green, 6 out of 7 games single digits. That just can't happen. That's no excuse for that. Plain and simple.
Couldn't be more proud of our guys. That was an incredibly impressive display of resolve, discipline. The defense was fantastic. The ball security, kind of game plan discipline, followed to a T, and then multiple guys stepping up. Buddy Hield, I don't know what to say. I mean, that was really incredible watching him light it up in that first half especially, and then down the stretch as well. But I can't say enough about our guys and what they were able to do in this series and to pull this thing out on the road in Game 7. Pretty impressive.
Steve, they cut a 15-point lead down to like 3. Jimmy gets that corner 3 out of a double team, and then he finds Draymond twice. And then it looks like maybe in the huddle between the 3rd and 4th, you guys make an adjustment to get Steph attacking the rim a little bit, and you got him free. What did you guys do there?
Well, it's always matchup based, and so if you can find an advantage with the personnel they have on the floor, then you try to get Steph in pick and roll with a particular player or two, and I think it just kind of played out that way. The way the game was going, they've done a great job of taking away the Steph Draymond pick and roll all series by putting Fred VanVleet on Draymond and putting their center on one of our wings, and so that was really a great strategic move for them. And I think in the fourth quarter, because of the matchups, we were able to get Draymond back in the pick and roll with Steph a couple of times. I thought Steph was brilliant tonight. I know he got off to a slow start shooting the ball, but the whole key to the game was taking care of the ball, and he managed the game beautifully. And it's just a matter of time before his shot goes in. But the reason we had the 11-point lead at half or whatever it was, 12, was because of the way Steph took care of the ball, got us into our offense, and settled the game down.
Steve, you've been
Yes,
through.
he did. It took some effort. It did. 19 of his 22 coming in the second half tonight, because the first half was, it was not a big scoring half for him, and you thought, well, what kind of a night? I look at it now. I mean, he hit half his shots. He was 8 for 16. He was 4 for 10 from deep. 22, 10, and 7 tonight.
And he played a good game. Usually he plays a great game, but he played a good game, and the other played a great game. Everybody else followed suit. They played with poise. They didn't panic, no antics tonight, and they played very well. I agree with everything that Steve Kerr said. He managed the game like a point guard should. Now, the question from Minnesota is, are they going to use similar tactics? I don't think they are. Because, me and Chuck, we always talk about this. When Rudy's in the game, it's a different ball game. So, Steve talked a little bit about matchups, but they're definitely going to be looking for the mismatch and looking for the pick and roll.
Yep. Steph, basically, if you were in junior high school, or college, you say he played against a box and won for the games, for the series. So there's two theories against a box and one. That's what that was. Like, it's two theories. Either you're going to be ultra aggressive and take some tough shots, or you're going to spread the floor to allow your other guys to get wide open shots. In the first half, he elected to spread the floor and let his guys get open
As you
shots.
did in your pictures at halftime.
He played against a box and one. They were like, I don't care where the ball is over there. I'm staying this way. You'll never see an NBA player with the back of his head to the ball, because he's got to see what's happening on the other side of the floor. They did not care, and Buddy Hield made them pay.
Final word from you, Chuckster.
Final word, just 2 words. Buddy Hield. That was spectacular, and he was the difference in the game. Until Steph got going, it was all Buddy Hield, and Steph closed it. But Buddy Hield, man, he was amazing tonight, and all power to him.
Yep, Steph closed it with some help from Butler, and they win it 103-89. And so the Golden State Warriors Move on to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, a 6-7 matchup.
All right, for more on this Game 7 win, Kendrick Perkins joins the show. And Perk, the Warriors, they really showed that championship DNA closing out this Game 7. What was the key for them in this game?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was an impressive series all across the board. You talk about a brawl for it all. But when you look at Golden State and people think of Golden State, they think of offense because you had the greatest shooter that God has ever created. And you think about the Splash Brothers, but they forget about the other side of the basketball and them what they do on the defensive side of things, which helped them win championships. They lock down when they want to, especially Steph Curry. Tonight was one of those nights where I'll go back to the last championship against the Boston Celtics where in the NBA Finals he was sliding his feet, doing all the little things when he was struggling to score in that first half. That's leadership. And then all of a sudden there was a ripple effect. We saw Pajemski, he was getting in there, getting dirty. We know what Draymond and Jimmy are going to bring to the table. All of a sudden Buddy Hield comes up with a block. So again, the defensive side of things was huge tonight for the Golden State Warriors, holding the Rockets to 89 points.
Yeah, for sure, the defensive side, but you mentioned a couple guys there, and Steph, who just had 3 at the half and finished with 22, and then Buddy going off in the first half. Perk, how big is that for this team moving forward? They've got the defense that you want right now, but offensively, when Buddy Hield is able to kind of pick up the pieces if Steph is having an off night.
Well, it's going to be huge, especially going against Minnesota, because everybody was wondering who's going to be that third guy to step up, for scoring-wise, right? We thought it was going to be Jonathan Kuminga, but they need to sit him down for the rest of the playoffs because mentally he's not there. But Buddy Hield tonight, especially in that first half, was huge for them. But that's what leadership does, right? It rubs off on guys. And so we're watching a guy play with confidence. We're watching the coach believe in them. Steph trusts him. Draymond Green trusts him. And I thought when you get that production from those role players like a Buddy Hield, I thought bringing in Kevon Looney tonight was huge for Golden State. Big minutes from him. We know he has that championship pedigree. It's going to be huge for them going down the line. They're going to need that because Steph and Jimmy, they're going to draw so much attention. You're going to need somebody to step up and take that pressure off of those guys offensively.
Definitely was Buddy Hield tonight with those 33 points. When you see him going down like that from the outside, everybody was looking confident out there. On the other side of the things, this Rockets team, they've got a great coach. They've got young talent. What do they need to look for moving forward?
They need a closer. And I tried to defend Jalen Green. I mean, look, I think his future is bright. It just don't need to be with the Rockets, right? And they have a lot of attractive pieces. If I'm the Rockets, I got to address the issue of shooting and a closer. And I'm going after Kevin Durant. I'll package up Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, and Jabari Smith and some draft picks and go out and get KD. Not Giannis, but Kevin Durant. And you pair him alongside Amon Thompson, Şengün with Fred VanVleet. You keep Big Steven Adams, and now you rocking with something. They just didn't have enough offensive firepower tonight, especially when the Warriors locked in on Fred VanVleet, who had been, giving them that work over the last 3 games.
So the Golden State Warriors got it done once again, and they were able to finish the Houston Rockets off, who were the 2nd seed, and actually win in Game 7. It was honestly such an exciting game to watch, no doubt about it, but looking at where the Golden State Warriors actually did shine is definitely where we see Golden State Warriors and what they are truly made of. Now, obviously, Golden State Warriors did win 103-89. It was a fantastic game all the way to the end. We saw players such as Steph, Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green all really score at will. And I think it was great to see that there was a little bit more of a balance in scoring between this Golden State Warriors team than just relying on Steph and Curry. And I think that really did make the difference and why the Golden State Warriors couldn't be stopped against this Rockets team. Now, looking at some of the most key and fundamental sort of players that were integral to this win, I definitely have to give a shout out quickly to Buddy Hield, because Buddy Hield, who wasn't actually starting in this series, actually came out, started this series, played 37 minutes, and had 33 points. Not only did he have 33 points, but he shot 9 from 11 from the three-point line and went 12 from 15 from the field. So not only did he score at will, but he scored at some of the highest percentage that we have ever seen. On top of that, you also saw Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry be able to take over once Buddy Hield was leading them into the promised land, and I think Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry were able to get the job done. Another great standout was definitely Draymond Green. We all do love to see Draymond Green score. Although he's a great defender, although he's a great playmaker, I do believe where Draymond really does shine is definitely if he's able to be an offensive threat, and he was able to showcase that, having 16 points, 6 rebs, and 5 assists in this matchup. So he did a fantastic job there. Now they did actually a fantastic job due to the fact that when we look at some of the defense Golden State Warriors were actually playing, we do see that Golden State Warriors did shoot 41.9% from the three-point line. So obviously, 42 pretty much. And then Houston actually only shot 33%. So very much on the lower side, very, very much. And we actually saw them go 6 from 18, while the Golden State Warriors had 18 from 43. So it is safe to say Warriors did shoot a lot more threes, but that's always been Golden State Warriors game. I think it was fantastic to see them shoot at will, and they also shot a very good percentage as well. Now, looking at actually their field goal percentage as well, we also saw a big difference there. Golden State Warriors shot 47.6%, while the Houston Rockets obviously only shot 40%. So very much lower, and there was only a 2 field goal attempt difference between both of these teams, with Houston shooting 84 and then, Golden State Warriors shooting only 82. So, definitely very, very good on how Golden State Warriors were able to not only score, but score efficiently, which I think was fantastic. And the biggest upset that a lot of people did not notice is that when we actually looked at Golden State Warriors, we saw a lot of different sort of starting fives coming out there in a sense to really mix it up, and that zone defense as well. I think this really does show a lot of NBA stars do say this when it comes playoff time. It isn't up to the players, it's up to the coaches on who wins these games. And I do believe there is some sort of truth in that, because I do believe we actually saw a full showcase of why Steve Kerr is a championship coach. He brought out a 1-3-1 zone, which was very much difficult for Houston Rockets to handle. We also saw that during this 1-3-1, we saw Steve Kerr do a great job actually mix it up when it comes to lineups. We saw Jonathan Kuminga out there for a little bit, Moses Moody, Quinton Post at times, even Kevon Looney. But I do believe it definitely did a fantastic job for, the Golden State Warriors to put these players out and to actually, be able to rotate. Now, it was sad to see that Gary Payton II actually didn't play this game, but I actually do think that it may have been very beneficial because the Golden State Warriors had, a lot of offensive threats out there. When you look at the starting five that they did run, they run Podziemski, Hield, Curry, Butler, and Green. All were able to score very, very well. I think Podziemski probably had the worst game there, but he was still able to put the ball in the basket at times when needed the most. So he definitely did his job in that sense. So I think this is definitely going to set them up for a great series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is definitely going to be a Timberwolf, Golden State Warriors matchup to remember, because I do believe there is going to be a lot of back and forth, as this team has definitely had, some sort of beef, I would say, in the past. So it is going to be exciting to see how this pans out, but definitely keep an eye out for this series. Go Warriors, and let's get this win.